You're listening to Honey. We made a Disney podcast, two friends since first grades, now dads, reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over sideways and under on a magic carpet ride as we review Aladdin. But first, JB, how are you and the family?
Man, not as good as you are apparently reading this introduction. Oh wow, that was incredible. That was on another level. No, we have been doing really.
But you stepped it up last week, so I felt like you really gave it the gusto for the Mighty Ducks. So
we did do the quack 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 quack. No, it's been good. I would venture to say this is one of our favorite family Christmases of all time right now. We're in a great mode right now.
Everybody's at a good age.
Yeah, everybody. So our son is now 4 years old, and last year was when he started really kind of getting his bearings on this whole Christmas thing. This year he's got it down. He knows what's going on. He is loving all of the festivities and the music and the movie and the Christmas movies we're watching. But the thing he's really enjoying right now are all the Christmas lights. All the Christmas lights. We paid for one of those like driving tour Christmas lights near my work, and we go out and we had done this a couple of years before when we went to Texas for Christmas. And man, he was enjoying it, but he was 2 years old and just kind of just taking it all in. Well, this time, now that he's older, he's loving every second of it. We have to turn on the radio that's like you turn it to the right frequency so you can get their radio station where some of the lights are like synced up with it. Man, he was in heaven.
I love it.
Just listening to it, but it had a ripple effect now, because obviously we don't want to pay $25 every other night to go see the big lights. We have ended up, he'll say, hey, more lights. I'm like, well, let's go down to the random neighborhood and see. Let's go to a rich part of town and see if they've got some good light shows. And we did. We found some amazing gems, some free lights that we didn't have to pay for. They're almost as good in some capacity as the $25 ones. But we just found all these random neighborhoods, these old neighborhoods, and you just would drive through slowly. And we found one place that had their own little tiny frequency for their light show. And I think all the proceeds, if you donated something through Venmo, they would give to a local food pantry or something like that. But
those are some of the best displays, like dad and his teenage son, just like, we're going to make the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
Those are some of the best.
Yeah. So he was enjoying that, but it was funny. Every time we do it, he has a very specific cutoff point where he's just like, I'm ready to go home. Home now, mama. Home, dada. Just immediately, like, I've hit my fill. I have moved on emotionally from this adventure. It is time to go home. And you're looking at me, and I know what's coming next. You're going to ask, which parent do you think this came from?
Who does he get this from?
I have no idea, Eddie. I have no idea where he gets this sudden and drastic sense of, I am finished with this game.
I can't tell you how many board games or TV shows or conversations or events or whatever, you just stand up and be like, I'm done. Bye.
Yep. I was just done. I'm over it. I'm ready to move on.
Listeners, when JB is done with something, he's done. Don't try and go back. I can't tell you how many other friends are like, oh, but come on, JB. And I just look over and be like, guys, stop. Like, this is done.
I literally did it today. I felt bad. I did it to a coworker today.
No.
We were trying to problem solve something on my computer, and it was so frustrating. And I was just like, I'm done. And so I literally unplugged my computer, shut it, and was about to move on. And I was like, it's lunch. Have you had lunch yet? Just go get lunch. He's like, no, man, I want to stay and figure it out. I'm like, no, it's done. I could have left him there with my computer and just let him fix it and try to fix it. And I felt bad. He finally at the end was like, can I just like come back in later and do it? I'm just like, I literally took my laptop. I'm like, I need this. It's like, okay. I'm like, I'm just holding it because I didn't want to break his feelings, but I was so done. I was so over working on this laptop.
At least you didn't like slam it down like that scene in The Social Network. That's one of my favorite moments. Well, if you guys are up in the Indianapolis area, there's a pretty amazing light display at the Motor Speedway, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you actually drive your own car around the track and through the infield and stuff, and there's light displays everywhere. You of course have to pay to go in, but it's pretty amazing.
That is cool.
There you go.
There is also some amazing things that just dropped. And speaking of
Holy
Christmas,
cow, yes,
we have been gifted with so much to look forward to on Disney Plus and in theaters. Just immense amount of stuff that Disney just dropped.
Last week's episode, we were like, oh, here's some of the things that have come recently. Here's some things that are like rumored, da-da-da. And then Disney's like, you guys, all of you fans think there's a couple of things coming out on Disney Plus. No, they had a 4.5 hour investors call. That was like a Zoom, like a well-produced Zoom call.
Did you watch it?
Apple. I did.
I didn't know you could watch it. I was just watching their Twitter feed that just kept on going. The longest thread possible.
It was like an Apple product reveal, sorry, and it's like different people from parts of the company coming up. So for this episode, we're just going to cover the things that they announced pertaining to Star Wars and Marvel. And then in next week, we will take a quick look at everything else that was released, which was a ton both ways. So, yes, Marvel. Shall we start with Marvel? Things Marvel.
Start with the new Marvel stuff, which is great because they were the ones that actually had some real, not teasers, but some real trailers for us.
Yeah, so WandaVision, we know, comes out January 15th. Kind of had the same old trailer that they gave, but I think one of the important news that they announced there is that WandaVision is really launching the next phase of the MCU, and that it's going to intertwine with the next Doctor Strange and a couple other movies that are coming out. Like, it's really going to be a crucial part of the storytelling going forward.
So would you say that Black Widow is part of the last phase? Because we have yet to see Black Widow.
My understanding so far is that Black Widow is phaseless. like it
that's
just kind of...
That's a 2020 way to put that.
yeah. Like, it just sits out there as a story unto itself. Like, that's the rumors I've heard. Nobody has seen it, so maybe it does tie in. But my understanding is they really wish they had done Black Widow sooner. They hadn't, so they were trying to rectify that.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. So definitely one of the best trailers that they launched was the Loki trailer.
Yes.
Gave us so much stuff, so many little tidbits. I need to get on Reddit and start looking through all of the little Easter eggs that they have inside of this, because there's a ton.
Kevin Feige, who's the president of Marvel Studios, said something very interesting on the presentation. He said, in this series, Marvel will be exploring a genre we've never explored before, and it'll be like the crime thriller. Like, it's like a crime, like a detective show. That's pretty
interesting.
Much how it was described. Which is a little less known fact about Marvel is that Kevin Feige, each character he tries to assign a genre of movie to, so that way it kind of has its.
Which one was rom-com then? WandaVision now is rom-com.
No, WandaVision, exactly. So yeah, no, Loki just seems amazing. Like,
he's his full self. He's living his best life in this.
Yeah.
Like under someone else's control, but still getting to cause all kinds of mayhem. Even the thumbnail I'm looking at right now is 100% it. No, that was a great. There were so many things I have no idea what any of these things are. The name that's on his I don't know if it's an agency or something that he's working with.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at first I thought, oh, are they just giving us the same clip from the last Avengers movie? But it's like, oh no, that's leading us directly into where his world is going to be going.
And how brilliant of a move, that just kind of brief moment in Endgame opening up a whole new series and opportunity for Loki. Like, they knew what they were doing there. So that's pretty cool. The other one that was not announced, but given its first look into, was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Which looks pretty cool. Again, Kevin Feige described this as a feature-length MCU film just broken up into 6 parts. Like he said, production quality, everything, same level, story, scope, and all of that. It's just broken apart into this 6, which makes me think maybe it's more of an event series and not like, it's not going to be like The Mandalorian where they're season after season.
Yeah, it definitely feels exactly like another Avengers movie. The way it's shot, the way it looks, the way it feels, just kind of feels on that level of another. I thought it was just a one-off thing, but it's a series, at least for a season. And it definitely feels like a normal Avengers film in just the scope and everything like that when I remember watching the trailer. Eddie, can you tell me you can give me a little more insight to this. What is this Groot series?
So
how can they get anything out of a character that only says, I am Groot?
So this is all about merchandising and how much money they can make off of this character. That's all this is about. Like, you go to Disney parks or the Disney store or anything, like, Groot is a powerhouse. Baby Groot is a powerhouse merchandising property for them. So it's going to be a series of shorts. I think it's going to be someone in the line of like Forky Asks a Question. If you've maybe seen that on Disney Plus.
My son loves Forky Asks a Question. Yeah. Forky Asks a Question. And he has to say it like that.
So I think it's just going to be like a little bit of bit comedy, but it is a set of shorts.
Gotcha. Should we jump over to Star Wars, the Star Wars side of things, or is there any other Marvel ones you want to hit?
I think the surprise one is I actually walked away excited about She-Hulk.
Interesting.
Just hearing some of the things. The actress they got is the her name is escaping me.
Jennifer Walters.
She is phenomenal. What was that show that she was in? Why am I blanking on this?
It's where she's a twin or something.
She's
a British show.
A clone. Like, there's multiple clones of her, and each one has like a very distinct, just different personality and stuff like that. Yeah, she is. I mean, Orphan Black. Sorry, the BBC America series, Orphan Black. Yeah, Tatiana Maslany. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So just hearing that, like, Mark Ruffalo is going to be in that one.
Yes.
And Tim Roth is coming back as the Abomination. I love Tim Roth. That just, I don't know. Like, before I wasn't excited about that. I was like, oh, okay. But hearing about that seemed really excited. And we're only scratching the surface. There was 11 things announced for that. So, yeah. A lot for Star Wars. A lot for Star Wars.
And we really can't go any farther than talking first about Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? We have to start there.
I would say this is the one that I am most excited about. I love Ewan McGregor.
But Ewan McGregor isn't even the biggest part of what was so powerful about this, the information we got about this one, because they are bringing back the polarizing Hayden Christensen as Vader. We need to talk about that.
I think he gets such a bad rap. Some of it is
deserved.
Sure. Some of it, a lot of it's deserved. Let's be honest. But also, like, it's not like the writing in Attack of the Clones helps him out
Sure.
that bad. Because you go back and you rewatch it, and it's like Natalie Portman is just as bad as he was in those movies, and nobody's second guessing her acting chops. Are you kidding me?
I don't think so. It's really hard to be as bad as he was in Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones is easily the worst Star Wars movie.
If we can get Hayden Christensen's performance, even in the ballpark of the first half of Revenge of the Sith, it'll be palatable.
Yes, he was good.
But
he's in the suit. He's in the suit the whole time.
That is going to be a huge help.
Right. And it's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Is that so 10 years after? Okay.
10 years after. It's a special event series. So it's these episodes and that's it. And Kathleen Kennedy said that there is going to be a lightsaber battle to rival the one in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. So many things happening right now. First off, Revenge of the Sith is arguably the best lightsaber battle in any Star Wars series, period. Arguably. Second, where I was I'm
not arguing with you.
No one's arguing with me. Okay. We will put away the straw man. We're going to put them back.
We're the only two people here, so if I'm not arguing with you.
Revenge of the Sith is, since we're staying on there, is a very underrated movie. That movie is so much better. It's pulled down by the rest of that trilogy, that part of the series, because of the first two, and it's because they brought Hayden Christensen back a ton with just his performances. He gets very whiny near the end. Kind of near the end, it kind of gets like too much off the rails. But that leads me into this. Why would she make that big of a claim for a show? It's not even going to start filming for a couple months. How can you say it's going to rival something that has come before that is already living and it hasn't even been shot yet? Why would you put those kind of expectations on yourself? Because if there's a 90% chance you're not going to deliver that. It's going to be so hard. You've just made the target way harder than it needed to be versus just putting it out into the world and said, like, what if Mandalorian was like, you're never going to guess what character's going to be in the show. You're never going to guess. And they just did that for 2 years. By the time we got Baby Yoda, it would have felt less versus now we're like, oh, I had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, it's the name of the call was Disney Investors Day. That's all they were thinking about. How can we make people give us more money?
Whatever.
Yes. The next series that was announced, there's actually two that are set in the same timeline as The Mandalorian. Ahsoka is getting her own series.
Which we could see that coming. When I was like, if you're going to spend that much money on that actress, and spend that much time getting the character looking right, she's not going to be a one episode and off or like come back in at the end. Rosario
Dawson will be great at that. I think
she was already great at it.
Yes,
in one episode.
Yes. And I've not watched the Clone Wars all the way through. I've just kind of watched a selection, and I see why she is such a fan favorite character. So that'll be cool. The other one is called Rangers of the New Republic, which is supposed to be kind of pulling some of the characters out of the Mandalorian as Rangers of the New Republic.
Do you think that it will include what's her name from the series, that she's going to be like the leader of I forget her name right now, but
that's what's been rumored, but there's all we know about this series is that it's called Rangers of the New Republic.
Okay, we'll see.
And that it's done by Filoni and Favreau, which will be amazing. And it's going to have crossovers, like Mandalorian, Rangers, and Ahsoka will all be crossing over.
We're also getting a follow-up, a kind of a spin-off of, if you've ever watched the Clone Wars animated series, there was a group of clones who were called the Bad Batch, and they kind of have this kind of coming all together and winning the day after they were the group that wasn't going to make it. So they're going to be taking them off into their own series as well.
Yeah, I was excited about that one. The animation from the last season of the Clone Wars got me really excited about how they're going to do the animation of the Bad Batch.
I've got about 4 seasons in to Clone Wars, so I still got to finish off and make my way through it.
The other series was Andor, which is following Diego Luna's character from Rogue One. That's kind of been known about for a long time, but nobody knew when it was starting. And it was like, oh yeah, we finally started that one.
This is pre Rogue One then, evidently.
Good observation.
Good observation.
There's going to be one based on Lando, which was one that I was really excited about. But nobody knows, like, from what period of his life, what actor is going to play him. Like, is this a Donald Glover coming back or no? I think there would be, like, a huge outcry from fans if you didn't see.
Yeah.
There's finally going to be a series from the High Republic period, which is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. That's only been touched on and like really obscure Star Wars material. So that's really cool. It's called The Acolyte. 2 new movies were teased, and I thought this was really exciting. Loved, I don't know if you saw the teaser of Patty Jenkins kind of announcing that she's directing a movie. I just really loved how that teaser, I don't really want to talk about it because I think everybody should go watch it. I just thought it was really well done how they did that.
Okay, I've not seen it, then I will go see it.
Okay, yeah, you've got to see this because it was just like, it's just simple and elegant, and I love when they do that. But it's called Rogue Squadron, which it's supposed to be kind of like a Star Wars fighter pilot flick.
Nice.
So I'm thinking maybe like a Top Gun in space. Who knows? And then Taika Waititi is doing one. And you know that everybody's so excited about him when they don't tell you anything except for,
just untitled Taika Waititi project.
We're just gonna give him a couple of $1 million to make a Star Wars movie. And everybody's like, ah!
That's awesome.
So that's all the Star Wars stuff, which is a ton.
That's just all the Star Wars stuff, and I'm sure
there's so much more that we will cover next week as we look at some of these. But again, most of that's going to Disney Plus. Disney stock prices shot through the roof the next day. Like this did exactly what Disney wanted it to do. Like it's one of the highest it's ever been. Like it really rebounded.
Wish I would have done some insider trading. That'd been great.
Right before.
Yep.
Live and learn.
But Eddie, I think it's time for us to actually get to the show we were supposed to be talking about
20 minutes in.
The movie. We've been waiting since 1992 to talk about this. I think it's time to talk about Aladdin.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
Okay, Eddie. Gonna try to do my best here to do this IMDb description, but it's got some great imagery here. So, IMDb description for 1992's Aladdin. A kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry grand vizier vie for a magic lamp that has the power to make their deepest wishes come true. Grand Vizier. If I hadn't heard them actually say it on the movie, I would have said Grand Vizier, but Vizier sounds
Vizier.
Vizier vie for a magic lamp. It's just so good. Eddie, can I tell you that I know exactly where I was when we bought this movie. We went to the local CVS in Brownsburg, Indiana.
CVS, not Walgreens?
I don't know which one it was.
Okay, because I was at the Walgreens today. That's the only reason why I remember.
It's not even there anymore. There was a drugstore of some renown there. It's where I don't know if there's a Firehouse Subs or a Spirit Fireworks. I don't know which one is where.
It's one of the two.
But it's by the old China's Best. I
love the detail we're going in to describe this that only the two of us would know.
I was 5 years old, and I remember specifically us going just to buy this movie because we were so excited to get it, take it home. I was 5 or 6 years old, took it home to watch it for the first time, and it blew my face off. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can remember being right there in the CVS or Walgreens or whatever it was called. Like I can remember it to this day.
No, I mean, Aladdin, for at least in the Renaissance period, is, one of the, like, musical standpoint, like having a male lead out front, kind of has a little bit more of an action feel to it compared to like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. So I think it was a lot of little boys just kind of gravitated towards it more and more. I don't know.
Well, because you think of so many Disney movies being princess movies, and here you've got a prince or a becoming a prince story, which is definitely a little bit of a different take.
So you say princess. Can we just get something out of the way?
Oh, feel it coming.
Jasmine by far is my least favorite princess.
Shots fired. Do tell.
I find her incredibly annoying, and I'm just obnoxious. Like, one, her voice the whole way through it, everything is just like, just speak. I don't know. Like, I just find her so annoying the whole way through. And then I don't connect.
It's got a very sultry voice
with the character. Yes. overly sultry.
Overly sultry.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like an odd, we're jumping ahead here a little bit. That was probably one of my favorite, the remake, the live action. I felt like they fixed the character of Jasmine. Like, she made so much more sense in the live action.
I think you might be on a little bit of an island culturally with how many people did not really care for that. The Aladdin remake, just in general, but most of it's probably aimed at Will Smith. But anyways.
No. I'm being very specific. Like, that's one of my favorite.
You liked Jasmine. You wish they could have traded.
Yes,
the Jasmine could have traded places. I'm using a lot of my hands right now. I'm using Eddie level hands right now.
So I would say for me, like, even as a kid and then rewatching it now, it was just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, Jasmine is the worst princess ever.
That was nowhere on any of my list of things to talk about in here. But we can't. Let's pivot inside of that conversation. Let's talk about the lead characters in this.
So yes, because I want to make the opposite statement of what I've just made there, and that I would argue, I would put forward for debate. I will state here now publicly, thus be
on the
heard.
Record. We're going to have some receipts here in a couple
I'm on
months.
the record. I think the genie is the best animated character, period. Like, I can't think of another animated character that rivals the genie. Like, his character, and you can't talk about the genie without talking about Robin Williams, right? They go hand in hand.
They're the same person.
But no other character expresses the medium that is animation. Like, the ability that animation has
to instantly change who they are,
yes,
to land the joke.
Yes, but to be comical, to be to push the narrative forward, to also just be deeply heartfelt. Like, the genie just has so much range. Yeah, and you care about him by the end of it. It's not just the jokes and like, oh my goodness, listen to all the voices and stuff he does. It's the ability for that character to cover so many different things in the course of that movie. Like, I can't think of another animated character that that shows the flexibility of the medium so much.
Well, if you remember when we talked many episodes, namely 9-10 episodes ago when we did DuckTales, there's a very similar storyline that happens in there with the genie. And when that genie gets set free, it is totally unearned. Yeah. I think the big reason, as you put it forward, is because we care so much about Robin Williams' genie. So much that when he gets that freedom, when he doesn't get the freedom, you're heartbroken. And then when he gets it in the end and he changes his mind, it's just, I just remember being so excited when I was little.
Yeah, and like even like the moments in the palace when Aladdin is pretending to be a prince and trying to win Jasmine, and just even the way the genie is just like,
be yourself, and like doing that both comically, but then also just like very heartfelt. Like he has both sides of that he plays, the character plays that out. It's just, I don't know. I would, that's why I think it's one of the best uses of animation in a character to drive a story from so many different angles. And that's even before we get to the power, the tour de force that is Robin Williams in the performance. Like if you have never gotten on YouTube and just watched B-roll of a recording session of him doing the genie, you've got to watch this, because what they would do is just say like, here's the line or that we wrote or the thing that, we want him to do. And they would just let him go. And it would just be like him just like all over the place and like literally all over the place. And then they would go back through and they would kind of pull out and then take his performance and put it into the animation. Like it's one of the few times that they animate to the voice actor exactly how he delivered it, so much. And you got to say, like, Robin Williams coming in and doing the genie really changed voice acting and animation from then on forward, because previous to that, it was kind of, big name actors didn't go do voice acting. You look at some of the other previous Disney animated films, a lot of the actors were from Broadway. They weren't as well known, or maybe they were, playing kind of more smaller characters. But from that moment on, like most Disney animated films start having more and more of these big name actors. Oh yeah. If you look at any cast of any film now, they all are just chock full of household names, people that you've heard of, big names. What I find interesting in this film, kind of on the same level, is the most interesting characters in this film are all minor. They're not the quote unquote main heroes of this film. I know you've already just went out and hated on anybody who likes Jasmine. But I would say, I mean, if you think about the best, most interesting characters in this, it's Iago, Abu, the carpet, Genie, and of course, Jafar is a great bad guy. So I wouldn't say he's a minor character. He is the villain. He's one of the greatest villains that we've ever seen. Probably you have to debate him and Ursula up in there. But it's interesting that the best parts so the best parts of this film are all of those amazing minor characters, 2, Jafar, 3, that you're in this like fantastic other world. I mean, a whole new world in of itself is. It describes so many of the feelings that we have watching this film as you're in a different place watching this, especially for a little kid that was growing up in the middle of Indiana. It has so much of that, and I would not say that the specific main hero's journey was necessarily, and it was interesting because Aladdin has his own journey he's on, and Jasmine has her own journey that she's on, and they both have different things. She's trying to get free of the palace. He's trying to get free of this idea that he's a street rat. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what I started paying almost too much attention to as the story was going on. I'm like, why am I into this story? Is it the spectacle and the other people? Is this main storyline? And I felt a little bit let down rewatching this again to go, I don't I don't think I'm as much into their stuff as much as this character over here and the Iago and the carpet and all of the other pieces of it that made it so unique and fresh and wonderful. It wasn't necessarily the main guy. I was like, oh man, I really hope he gets the girl in the end. Well, partially because we know who gets the girl in the end. I
couldn't agree more.
Thinking that, and it kind of took it down a little bit. I thought it was going to be on the Mount Rushmore, and I just couldn't. I don't think I can put it up there because of the central part of the story for me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is, it's interesting. This might be a bold statement, but I think
you've already made many bold statements. So you got to pull them back. You got to rein it in a little bit.
But I think like the piece as a whole, like the sum of all of its parts together as a whole, I think I enjoy like the Broadway musical more than the animated feature.
Haven't seen it.
And I think I enjoy the remake more than the animated feature.
No, I don't know if I'm ready to go there.
Except for, of course, Will Smith and Robin Williams. Like, that's probably what puts the remake below the animated for me. Is just kind of like, yeah. I wish they would have gone more with how the Broadway play did the genie. Like, they just really played the genie so much better there. Will Smith, I feel like, was trying to be his version of Robin Williams, which is just like, don't even try, dude. Like, you needed to go a different direction.
You know who one of my favorite characters on the remake was?
Who?
Was Jasmine's handmaiden.
Yes.
From SNL.
Yes.
Her affinity for their whole back and forth with the genie
is so
Karen
good.
Will Smith made me so happy. I don't know what it was about it, but I kind of cared about if we're talking about old Jasmine in Aladdin, new Jasmine in Aladdin, or the new genie and this handmaiden. I was more emotionally invested in their relationship than any of the other two versions of Aladdin and Jasmine.
Well, especially the reveal that, he's telling the story to their kids, yeah. But just, we do have to mention like the music here. We've brought up quite a lot, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. This was the project they wanted to do at Disney all along. Even prior to Little Mermaid, prior to Beauty and the Beast. They were supposed to do this before Beauty and the Beast, but Disney kind of pushed Beauty and the Beast a little bit harder. And so I kind of, this watching of Aladdin just kind of left with this, Howard Ashman only was a part of just a few of the songs and wasn't there to see it to the end. Like, what would have this been like if it would have had Howard Ashman's fingerprints all across it?
I mean, the music is great.
Sure.
It's incredible. I'm trying to think of any song that I don't love. That's the other hard part of this is like the story had its problem, like didn't care about the main central point of it, but the music was another huge part of why I loved this film and why you can think of it right now and just break into song, think about a whole new world.
No, I mean, it's stirring. It's fun. I love the opening number of Street Rat. Oh, yes. And then the tailing of the tail.
Yeah.
I love the me, I love a good reprise. How many times have I brought up the reprise?
A lot.
A lot. Way too much, honestly, if we're honest. No, that so if you watch the documentary called Howard on Disney Plus, he talks a lot about like how he took the Broadway musical into Disney animation. And he talks about how the titular character needs to have the I want song. Like, how do they describe their motivation, what they're doing? And in this, it's such a brilliant move that it's a reprise of Street Rat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really, it's kind of the same lyrics. There's just a few kind of changes here and there, but it's just the tone and
yes.
the shift in the melody that it goes from just this fun opening kind of number to, oh, wow, no, this is really his I Want song. This is how it's describing his emotion. I'm just like, this is genius. This is such a brilliant move. I love that so much.
My wife reminded me that there is actually a hidden song that they removed from the film when she opens up the menagerie and all of the birds fly out, and then it cuts directly to something else. I didn't notice that there was another song in there, and I think they brought it back for the stage production. Is that correct?
You're right. Yep, they did. The other thing that is interesting about the music is this is one of the few Disney movies that the villain doesn't have their own song.
That's right.
And so what is fun about this is Jonathan Freeman, who was the actor to voice Jafar in the animated feature, was the one to create the character on Broadway when the Broadway play opened. So,
interesting.
The only guy to do both in both mediums for a Disney animated then Broadway play. And so he has a song in the Broadway musical. So he kind of rectifies that. And the voice acting is brilliant.
Oh, it's so good.
And even stage acting, like Jafar is a wonderful kind of over the top villain, and Jonathan Freeman does a wonderful job with that.
And that's what makes me sad about the new one, because Jafar the Jafar in the new one, not on the same planet.
It's just flat
as the original. And the moment you see him in any of the trailers, you're like, this isn't going to work. This is not the right pick. You need to recast this.
I felt like in the remake, they tried to make him more realistic.
I don't want realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need an over the top
more gravitas.
Crazy villain. Yeah.
But they did the same thing with Lion King. Their voice actor for the Lion King, for Scar. Nope. I need Jeremy Irons. I need something in that level.
We will cover this once we get to the Lion King, but I refuse to watch the Lion King.
Oh, you aren't missing anything. I
haven't seen it. I don't want to see it,
that have
which is crazy.
Eyes.
I love Jon Favreau, but no, sorry, that was just a bridge too
some
far.
incredible CGI, but their eyes were just soulless beings. They're supposed to be crying, and they're just like looking into nothing.
It took me a couple of years to watch the Beauty and the Beast live action remake, and I watched it once and haven't watched it since. But the Aladdin one, so interesting enough, I've not been a fan of the remake ones.
Most of them have been trash.
Last summer, I had a crazy summer for work, and there was going to be about a 3-week stretch where I wasn't going to see my wife or kids. I was just going to be pretty much working 24/7 for about 3 weeks. And so my wife and I were like, okay, we're going to have a date day. We're just going to go have some fun. And we love going to the movies. And that happened to be the weekend that Aladdin came out, and there was like nothing else in the theaters. And so we're like, okay, we'll go see Aladdin. You know, it's the only one. We're just having a date day. And we both walked away going, wow, that was enjoyable. That was fun.
It makes me wonder if the rest of the situation around that day gave you some like 10%, 15% more rose-colored eyes to that film. Because I don't know that
I've gone back and rewatched it.
Okay.
And had a similar, like a more critical eye on it. And I think the thing is, it made the main characters a little bit better for me, which helps the whole movie. It ruined Jafar,
I agree.
And it ruined Genie, though.
I think it ruined both those people. I did not care for the Aladdin character very much at all. He felt way too polished, and teeth were so white. Like they were just like it's distracting how perfect this human being looks like. I'm just like, this isn't a great moment right now. And because we'll never we aren't going to be talking about the new one on its own podcast because it's outside of our 1988 to 2005 range. that we've kind of limited ourselves to just for sheer to do and to get this thing done. Her song, her one-off song that was like a different, her own Shameless. Oh no, just not interested.
Are you kidding me?
Just not interested. Not interested at all.
It's the guys behind Dear Evan Hansen and The Greatest Showman, and
then I expected more of them then because it was not good.
They're the guys that wrote the music for La La Land.
I don't care what their resume is. It wasn't good.
I liked it.
It wasn't. I've never thought until now. I haven't thought about that song other than with just like, we don't need this. We don't need.
I liked it. I thought it made her character a little bit more palatable.
So Eddie, are we at the point where we need to actually give this thing a rating, or you got any other?
I do have one last thing. So
yes.
We watched Aladdin as a family, and we're about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through. And Lewis just looks at me and he's like, "Daddy, we no watch this no more."
So he wasn't feeling it.
He was not feeling it at all. And I was like, "No, buddy, let's finish it." And he's like, "No, we watch Mickey Mouse Christmas. Mickey Mouse Christmas." He loves the Mickey Mouse Christmas movies,
we've been watching them on repeat. We've been watching them on repeat. Yeah, no, catch.
But yeah, he didn't like it.
My son wasn't really that much into this very much. I was trying to play it up a little bit, but he was okay with it.
Yeah.
So what rating are we gonna give this? I think I've got mine nailed down. It's hard when you've got so many of the good things about this that are just on another planet, from the music to Genie to the adventure of it, all the different characters, the good feelings, nostalgia. I can't give this less than a 4, but that main storyline and the main two, I can't give it more than that. So we're coming at 4 for me.
Oh, this is hard.
I know it's hard.
I think I'm gonna have to be more like I'll say a 3.5.
Okay.
Fruit snacks.
Bit off that half less. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I think
you hated Jasmine that much. Wow. That's a lot of vitriol for an animated character.
You nailed it. You've got Aladdin and Jasmine. That's your main storyline, and I just don't care about that storyline. I care more about the Genie storyline, the Jafar storyline more. Like, I'm more intrigued about those. And if either of those, like, I think Jafar is one of the strongest Disney villains. I think Genie is the best animated character Disney's ever put out there. Like,
but he takes every moment.
Every moment.
When he's on screen, I'm watching him. I don't care about what the rest of them are.
And if the name of this movie was Genie, boom, like, we'd be like 5 gummy worms, throw it up there on Mount Rushmore for 90s Disney movies. But yeah, it's not. So I gotta say.
Oh, we missed talking about the Cave of Wonders. That was definitely having that right kind of up near the front of this movie. Just when we go into the cave, like, every one of us would want to dive right into that cave and just like look around. It'd be so hard to not touch something in that place. And there's a lot of they've got a little bit like 10% better at some of the CGI stuff as he's riding the carpet and stuff. I didn't want to miss talking about how amazing that Cave of Wonders is. And also, one random note: how does the carpet not count as something he touched in the Cave of Wonders? That's a minor thing. How did that not set everything off?
Well, he's not supposed to touch any treasure.
But it says touch nothing but the lamp. I remember because he said it several times.
True. I don't know. Think plot hole.
It's gonna lose a half, and it's gonna lose a quarter. It's gonna lose a quarter gummy worm, gummy snack, whatever snack rating.
So, speaking of the magic carpet, 2 things. One, there's this whole theory that you can watch on YouTube if you ever want to go down that rabbit hole of like how the whole Disney universe revolves around the carpet and how he's like,
of course. I need to look that up right after this.
But for sure, the carpet is like in every Disney animated movie since Aladdin. And I think they even snuck it into Beauty and the Beast because they were developing it while they were finishing Beauty and the Beast. Like he makes a cameo in every Disney movie in one way or
I'm gonna
another.
have to go look back at that. I love these. Everything revolves around the carrot, like those little
The Pixar theory movies.
Theories. The Pixar theory movie. Oh man,
We'll talk about the Pixar theory next week because they definitely are doing some fan service to that.
Ooh. I am now intrigued, and I run this podcast. Any parenting tips that you picked up from watching this?
Yeah, 2-year-old is maybe too soon to watch this movie. And Lewis made that known. Yep, I'm done.
I'm done, Dada.
I'm done.
I'm done watching it. I think there's some good notes about suffocating your kids, like with too much parental control when they are pretty much grown adults at that as Jasmine is. I think there's some good notes about that.
Which we kind of have left out the, I don't know. She has a pet tiger?
We just look past it.
Like, why does a dad, your care, you suffocate her with protection. But here's a man-eating lion. It makes me wonder, or not lion, tiger, right? Does this mean Jasmine is the tiger princess?
Not the Tiger King.
The tiger
queen. The Tiger Queen.
Princess. Well, she's a princess, so tiger.
The princess, sorry. Yes.
Tiger princess.
Yeah. No.
These are the random things that I think of as I watch a movie.
Yeah, I think there's some good themes in here talking about giving your kids some freedom, not holding them back with everything you have. But I think there's also things like the majority of all. I know I said I didn't really care for his as much, mostly because he then goes on and just like once they find the genie, then he just stops caring about it. But the whole idea of your worth, what you really are inside, who you really are, not putting on masks and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of good themes inside of especially inside of most of his songs are all about that.
For sure. Yeah. Well, do we have a question for our listeners this week? A way for them to give us their insight to Aladdin. I know. Here's a poll question. Which would you rather have if you had to pick one or the other? The magic carpet or the magic lamp?
Oh, Eddie. This
If you only had one, magic carpet, magic lamp, what would it be? I honestly...
And you only get 3 wishes and it's done.
Yes.
The lamp you get forever.
No, the carpet you get forever. Yeah.
It's as loyal as a dog. It's basically a puppy, which is a great way that they kind of made it feel like a puppy.
I'll answer. I'll give you my answer if you're asking.
I am asking.
I'd pick the carpet.
I'm okay.
What would you pick?
Probably still the lamp. Sorry.
I'd pick the
probably
carpet.
still picking the lamp because there's a lot of things that would be really
Think
great to
of
have.
all the adventures you could have.
I could have a lot. I could get a giant eagle with one of my wishes, and then I can go wherever I want to. The giant eagle from the Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say from Lord of the Rings.
Well, that too. That too. I could
The eagles are coming.
The eagles are coming. Oh, gosh. Well, that is all we have for this episode of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Go on to our website at honeywemade.com/movies, and you can see all the movies that we've done. So you can listen to all of them over there. You can also see the ones that are going to be coming up. And Eddie, what is next week's going to be? This is perfect.
We have a special episode for the week of Christmas. We will be reviewing The Muppet Christmas Carol.
And this was a happy accident. We did not plan this out. We just looked up and said, if we
Why
eat,
are we
we don't
telling
miss the time.
people that? We should make it sound like we know what we're doing.
Guys, we master planned this thing years ago.
I love the shift to the arm up.
Years ago, we put this into our brains, into our calculators, and figured this out. But no, we're going to do Muppet Christmas Carol next week, so please stay tuned, and we're going to continue talking about all the crazy things that Disney has gifted us this holiday season, and a gift to you, our listeners. So thank you so much for listening.